From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Evidence was the topic today during trial for a Fairbanks man facing serious charges.
That's right. 54-year-old Norman Beverly stands accused of the kidnapping, assault, and attempted murder of his ex-girlfriend, Tamarian White. Beverly is accused of shooting White in the face, beating her, and kidnapping her for nearly 2 days. Today, Beverly's defense attorneys questioned both Fairbanks police and investigators. Now, during opening arguments, the defense claimed it was White, the victim, that shot Beverly in the arm and then shot herself. The defense slammed investigators for never testing the knife used in a separate attack, as well as the evidence they brought to a grand jury. According to the defense, no DNA or blood from the scene was collected or tested.
You don't know whose blood was on what items?
No, we had no DNA tested.
For an attempted murder charge, don't you think that determining the blood of whose blood was where? So you don't know whose blood was on the door, whose blood was on the pillowcase?
No, there was no DNA testing.
Did you hear Ms. White's testimony earlier that her entrance wound was in her chin?
Yes.
Did you see in the medical records where her entrance wound was in the back of her neck?
I don't recall exactly what the medical record said.
A lot of reaction today to Alaska Governor Bill Walker's proposed budget cuts. His plan calls for a $10.4 billion state budget with cuts of nearly $240 million. It would mean the elimination of about 300 jobs. The governor said the proposal is a starting point for legislators to look at. Some of those lawmakers say the governor's proposal does not go nearly far enough.
You know, in the non-formula programs that the governor had talked about, on some of those is $2.2 billion. His goal was 25% over 4 years. Well, that's $550 million. We have a $3.5 billion deficit, so we're going to go through that. We'll look at through the committee process, the discovery process that is, but I would expect some further reductions in that.
Governor Walker's proposal to eliminate the basic homeless assistance program may leave Fairbanks poor out in the cold next winter. Here in Fairbanks, 4 agencies, the Fairbanks Rescue Mission, Fairbanks Youth Advocates, Interior Alaska Center for Nonviolent Living, and the Salvation Army got the word yesterday and immediately assembled a group to figure out a way to cope with massive cuts, which will total close to $750,000. They say that the losses will be a major impact to all of the agencies and will have devastating results in the community.
Truly, I was devastated because the loss of this grant would really make a significant impact on our agency. You know, this grant for us is our operating costs. It pays the electric, it pays the water, it pays our insurance. And I truly can't say that, you know, the loss of this grant would shut our agency down, but it would truly diminish the services that we provide.
We're going to have people who need housing that aren't going to have that, and who are going to deal with some significant consequences, who may die, who may commit crimes to have a warm place to stay, who are hanging out in people's businesses and on their doorsteps because they have nowhere else to go.
The deadline to enroll for the health insurance marketplace, or Obamacare, is fast approaching. The Interior Community Health Center says the last day to sign up for health insurance in 2015 is February 15th. According to the Affordable Care Act, it is illegal for full-time employees to be without health insurance. The clinic says there are multiple ways to sign up for care. People could use healthcare.gov to start, or if people need a place to mull over their options, the clinic is holding its last insurance enrollment session at the Knoll-Ween Library on Valentine's Day, right before the deadline hits.
February 14th, this is the last opportunity for in-person assistance from people like me at the Knoll-Ween Library from 10 until 5. So people might want to consider bringing a laptop if they have one, although we will have a few available. You might consider bringing any kind of tax information or W-2 to help estimate what your income will be for 2015.
When we come back, 30 elementary schools from across the state will compete in a robotic challenge to build a walking robot.
Cool. Also, competition is currently underway to design or draw the new print that will represent the Alaska Railroad Corporation. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Fbx Evening News. Fairbanks police are still searching for a dangerous man who is the suspect in a shooting over this past weekend. Brian Kazevnikov is believed to be the shooter in the incident that had injured 2 people at a residence near Turner Street and 24th Avenue on Sunday. Kazevnikov fled the scene and a warrant has been issued for his arrest. Police say he faces charges that include attempted murder, felony assault, and theft. If you have any information about Kazevnikov or his whereabouts, Fairbanks Police ask that you call them at 450-6500.
An Anchorage man who pleaded guilty to murder, admitting that he was drunk when his pickup truck fatally struck 2 15-year-old girls, will serve 32 years for the crime. Anchorage Superior Court Judge Kevin Saxby handed down a 20-year sentence with 4 years suspended for each of Stacey Graham's 2 second-degree murder counts this morning. Saxby called his sentence the harshest of its kind, noting that the 33-year-old Graham would be eligible for parole after 20 years. Upon release, he will also spend 5 years on probation. Graham entered a guilty plea in the August 2013 deaths of Brooke McFeeters and Jordan Durr, who were walking along an Abbott Road bike path near East 88th Avenue when Graham's Toyota Tacoma pickup truck slammed into them.
Nursing education could be affected by the state budget situation. Right now, nursing students at the Alaska Vocational Technical Center say staff told them cuts to the program are coming. Throughout the University of Alaska system, there's a wait list just to enter the nursing program. AvTech offers a much smaller program, but those in it say it's affordable for them. Some students already enrolled in AvTech are concerned that they're throwing their money away and time as well on a degree that won't be as advanced as they hoped.
Then they told us the RN that might be taken away. So we're like, okay, now we have the LPN hanging on by a thread. And then they said the whole entire allied health department is going to be taken away. The $2 grand we had to pay out of our own pocket, and it's not like I'm going to get that back.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. About 30 elementary school teams from across the state are coming to town for the Tanana Valley Robot Rally beginning tomorrow morning. The robotics tournament is hosted by the First LEGO League, which advocates excelled technology lessons for elementary students across Alaska. Today we got a sneak peek at local Fairbanks kids building their contraptions. This year's theme is titled World Class, and the robots must be made out of Lego blocks, of course. To win the tournament, they have to build a functioning robot, complete a separate science project, and demonstrate good teamwork. The tournament begins at 10 in the morning and lasts all day at Barnett Magnet School. Coordinator Kevin Marsh says that the robotics rally is a great stepping stone for kids getting into technology.
And they want to know, well, how does that work? And then when I show them even a little bit where maybe I can make the robot say hello to them, they say, wow, that's really neat. And then you can basically start that as a way to just kind of crack a door open into maybe getting into outside of their comfort zone and into something a little more intense.
$3,000 goes to the winning artist selected for the Alaska Railroad Corporation's 2016 official print. Artwork submissions are now being considered until the 27th of this month. The winning entry will be used to produce signed and numbered prints, posters, and lapel pins. Now, the winner in exchange will participate in signing events in Fairbanks and in Anchorage. This year, the Alaska Railroad is particularly interested in work that features the Houston area, which sits at the juncture of the rail's existing main line and a new rail extension.
All right, if I was an artist, I'd certainly enter.
Yeah, I'm not quite an artist, but I liked the what'd you say?
Robot?
I didn't know.
I
thought it was
Styx
thank you
song,
very much,
you know,
Mr.
Styx
Roboto.
there before you were born. All right, coming up in sports, the Nanook women's basketball team gets back to their winning ways.
Also, one player gets some national attention. Find out who with Joe Cook after the break.
Welcome back, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here to get your weekend started with some local Friday sports. We start with the Nanook women's basketball team, who put together a dominant defensive performance on Thursday night. UAF hit by injuries, as you see 4 starters in dress clothes, but it didn't matter. Alaska got off to a nice start, hitting threes and playing some stout defense against Western Oregon. They led by as much as 14 in the first half. The Wolves, though, they would cut it to 3 as Dina Goulater and Jordan Martishaw both had 11 points for the Wolves with a 31-28 game. But that's as close as they would get. UAF holds the Wolves to 26% shooting. They were plus 19 on the boards, and they were 7 for 18 on free throws. Kaylee Jold, she had 10 points and 13 rebounds, while Benisa Boulaya scored a game-high 20 points in a 60-47 win for UAF. Alaska stops their 5-game losing streak, and they're back to 6th place in the GNAC. They'll host 4th place St. Martin Saturday at 3 o'clock in the Play for K Women's Cancer Awareness Game.
We're getting tired of losing, and it hurt when our players went down, and I think we finally came together and stepped up and were able to get a win out of it.
I was very determined to make a mark on this game, to make a change, and so that's what I tried to do.
And it was a good win for us, being that we've lost 5 in a row. You know, your confidence can slip. So, you know, Kaylee obviously stepped up with a double-double. Benisa finished great around the basket, and overall we shot very well from the free throw line, and that made the difference.
Today was the opening day of the 4A State Wrestling Tournament at Chuquiac High School in Eagle River. So far, Lathrop and North Pole are in the top 10. West Valley is 14th, while Colony, they have a slim lead over South for the top spot. A number of interior wrestlers have made the semifinal rounds. North Pole's Dew Rogers, Ethan Shoemaker, Brandon Antisberger, and Dylan Walker. For Lathrop, Jack Dickinson, Micah E., Wesley Bockert, and Tyreek Jones. Joey Frissalone and Jordan Opp are in the semis for West Valley as well. We'll have more results over the weekend as the tournament continues. Well, no Region 6 skiing championships today. Just a little bit too cold. Out at Birch Hill, the kids got the bad news, but they will hope to have the classical races tomorrow at 1 o'clock. The temperature cutoff is -15 at Birch, and it was right at that mark this afternoon. So if it's too cold tomorrow, the Region 6 championships can happen next weekend, which is a week before the state championships. West Valley head coach Greg Wisenhant enters his 10th year with the Pack. He remembers similar winters that have been too chilly to ski, but these regional races are critical.
All the high schools use the regional championships to pick their state team, and so we need this race to be able to finalize who we're taking to state. It is so slow out there right now, and usually the slower it gets, the less beneficial it is to skate. It's better then sometimes just to get into the tracks. And classical ski, you know, what we're doing in here is gathering everybody's classical skis, and we'll probably end up waxing all those just in case that's what we end up doing.
The Great Lake Conference Double Elimination Hockey Tournament began Thursday in Big Lake. It also started a new season for some teams that have been in the middle of the pack all season. Defending state champion Hutchinson, a 3 seed, down the Tri-Valley Warriors 8-0. They carried that momentum into the night game against number 2 seed Monroe, and they shut them out 1-0. Number 1 seed Delta Junction, they were shut out by Houston 2-0. Houston beat Glen Allen in their first game. Hutch and Houston will play each other in tonight's winners bracket semifinal. The Rams will play the Glen Allen Panthers, while Delta will face Tri-Valley today. The Wolfpack girls basketball team held on in their quarterfinal matchup in the Lady Lynx prep shootout Thursday night. West Valley earned their closest win of the season, 43-41 over Thunder Mountain. West Valley remains undefeated at 13-0. The Pack led 27-26 at the half, but they closed out the third quarter on a 5-0 run to gain a little elbow room with a 35-29 advantage going to the fourth quarter. Ruthie Hebert, she had 21 points and 16 rebounds in the win. West Valley will play Wasilla in the semifinals tonight. And check out this play from the Diamond Tournament. Lathrop's Jana Hadukovic got some national attention from ESPNW today for this funky buzzer beater against Diamond last night. Her half-court heave is off, but she gets the rebound off the miss and still hits the shot at the buzzer to end the first half. She finished with a game-high 18 points. Follow your shot, kids, but despite the heady play, Diamond won 68-58. Last Saturday's 5-2 win over the Cooley Region Chill for Fairbanks wasn't all about scoring. This week's Play of the Week, you voted for Patrick Munson's athletic split save, which occurred in the third period against the Chill. That was one of his 24 saves in the win. The Hugo, Minnesota native picked up his 20th win of the season, which is tied for second most in the NAHL. He is 25-2 on the year. To pick the next Play of the Week, watch the I-5 Interior Top 5 plays on Mondays during the weekend recap. And that'll do it for sports tonight. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back into the Fairbanks Evening News. Time for a look at weather. Mike Schultz with you once again. Another frigid day across the interior. It's going to continue that way through the weekend, but there is good news on the horizon. By this time next week, we could be looking at temperatures in the teens above zero. So we'll have something to get excited about, right? Our photograph tonight. This one's sent in by Gary Kahlberg. He sends in lots of photographs. He's a great photographer. As you can see here, auroras and the ice fog. The ice fog, the lights here from the Silver Gulch area. As you can see, once again, some beautiful colors. And as always, if you have a photograph, by all means, send it to photos@ktvf11.com. That's gorgeous. Here our almanac looks like. The high today, 17 below. Right now, it's already dropped down to 29 below. The low last night, right at 40 degrees below zero. Record high 40 above in 1935. Record low 52 below in 1953. Sunrise and sunset, about 7 hours and 38 minutes. A gain of 7 minutes from yesterday. And our Aurora watch, once again, about a moderate level 3. And if you feel like going out there and sitting in the frigid temperatures, you'll have a chance to see some auroras maybe. And once again, an air quality alert. When don't we have an air quality alert? Anyway, North Pole is in an unhealthy category, and Fairbanks is under unhealthy for sensitive group status. And this will actually go through, actually it went through 5 p.m. today, but now it goes in through the weekend, unfortunately. That's not good news. All right, here's what's going on as far as the rest of the state is concerned. And you can see our winter trails report. We'll give it to you early. Why not? It's still way too cold and dangerous to venture outdoors, but a good time to make sure all of your equipment is ready for next weekend when temperatures will be perfect for all activities. So fix your stuff. Get it all ready for next weekend because it's going to be great next weekend. Now we'll go to our satellite and radar. And as you can see, we have a little bit of an area of low pressure sitting down over southeast Alaska. This is spinning around, bringing lots of moisture and a lot of snow last night. To Ketchikan, it's starting to fizzle out now. But again, nothing going on in the main part of the state. There are no clouds to be seen anywhere, and that's going to continue. What's going on across the rest of the state? Well, the precipitation has stopped around Ketchikan. Still some light snow in the Juneau area. 9 degrees at Juneau. That's pretty cold for them. Kodiak, a little rain and snow mix, 29 degrees there. Anchorage at 22, 2 degrees at Bethel, and 4 degrees around the Nome area. 15 below at Barrow, not too bad for this time of year, but 42 degrees below zero in Fort Yukon. Lower 48 weather looks like this. And again, more rain falling across the Pacific Northwest. This rain is getting serious, folks. We're getting some dynamic flooding going on. You'll probably see more of that on the NBC Nightly News. Rain stretching all the way down into Southern California, too. The rest of the country looking pretty good. 70 degrees at Denver, 58 in Dallas. That's kind of unusual. And over the northeast, more light snow, but moving out of the picture. That's the good news. On the radar, you can see a little bit of light snow still moving across the Great Lakes. That is exiting over the Atlantic Ocean. But look at all the rain moving across Southern California. I should say Northern California into Southern California. Very heavy rainfall. And it looks like this for tomorrow. Stormy Saturday will continue with rain across Washington all the way down to Northern California. And again, the jet stream will be the culprit for early next week as it brings more rain over the western half of the states. Nice weather over the south, more cool and frigid conditions across the Great Lakes. All right, back to Alaska for tomorrow. A few clouds with some blowing snow for Barrow and Nome, variable cloudiness and cold for Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, we'll have a little ice fog in the morning. That should be moving out of the picture, and then mostly clear skies across the region. And as far as southeast Alaska, calmed down considerably from what it was yesterday. Just snow showers will be the rule for the Juneau and Ketchikan areas. Well over the southwest part of the state, we're looking at snow showers at Cold Bay, sunny skies in Bethel, and blowing snow in the Kodiak region. And over south central sections, sunny skies across the region, but strong winds in the Valdez area. Winds were gusting up to 80 miles an hour in the Thompson Pass area. All right, here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. 40 below once again with severe cold and areas of ice fog. The fog can get dense at times, so keep that in mind. Tomorrow, the ice fog should burn off by midday. 21 degrees below zero with lots of sunshine. But now let's give you some good news. As you can see here, temperatures beginning to rise right above to the 10-degree mark by next Thursday. That's above zero, folks, not below. And the overnight lows will also start to rise, which is nice to see. So we're finally going to be breaking out of this cold snap. I know it's a gamble to say this, but I think this might be the last real strong cold snap we should see for this winter.
All right, thank you, Mike. And before we go, we just want to remind everybody we're wearing red. Why? Because it's National Wear Red Day.
Yep.
That's right.
Go red for women and men.
Yep, that too. All right, thank you, and that'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, fraud concerns about prompt TurboTax, to temporarily halt state files. That's next with Brian Williams.
And a reminder, be sure and tune in tomorrow for the Interior's only news and sportscasts.
Well, thank you. From all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.
Are you ready?